think it should say I detect it, right? And should start streaming. There we go. Well, I think we're live. Great. Well, thank you for watching. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. What we're going to work on is gonna be more kind of creative, more you know, out of the blue kind of content creation. And what we're gonna do is we're going to pull this project called animation. Okay, so animation is going to basically help us. It's going to, I don't want to say a framework, but maybe a collection of libraries that are going to make developing art or online. So what are we going to code? Well, we are going to okay, so I think we're ready to go. So in our thing, let's start. So today we're gonna be a bit more kind of creative with our development. And what we're going to work on is this kind of this sort of JavaScript / Django. And to start, we are going to say what are kind of like the projects that we can run. Okay, let's try this one and see if it's going to serve the application where it's supposed to be. Meanwhile, let's look at this in I think it has fixed our virtual environment. So let's say yes. Let's go with start Django.bat just to see if our thing is going to work. And if we click, and this is our homepage. We have the homepage, and I think at this point it's not really about views, it's about going through the process and see what is going to happen. So what we're going to do is okay, so we're going to have a visual identity, a system interface, a structural form, some studies of visuals, and the Midnight Lake. So to start, what is this application? Well, this application is mainly to kind of help us bring, we're gonna go from left to right, right? We're going to kind of go to, let's say, localhost. Gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna say localhost 8000. and you have a different, we have a different form of animation, and it has this ripple animation that we've created, or that I've created. Let me put my camera. Okay, so as you can see, we can easily and in fact, because we are in this creative mood, I'm going to click on the ripples and we'll see what this does. If I click on start the sequence, it creates like this techno kind of thing. I'm going to remove the background music. So this is all procedural. This is procedural, it's all programming. So now we're gonna make it a little better. We're gonna make it better. Okay, excuse me. Now we're gonna have the plan. Planning our development. We're gonna have instructions. Okay, and we're just gonna start. Okay. We're gonna start our development. So, okay, let me quit this. Okay. Remember, we're gonna go left and right. So I'm going to need I think the question is, can you hear the music? Can you hear the music? Okay. So we're still kind of, I'm going to have, let's show our application right now. It's like a mini game. Mini game. Mini game. So can you hear the music? Can I 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 hear the... So what are we going to do? I think what we can do is let's go on our outer application for now. So let's see if we can play the music. Can I hear it? That's the okay. So we have this ba 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 ba. So now we're gonna bring something else. We're going to bring what can we do here to make it more interesting? I think sometimes having an audience can make it harder. Okay. So what I'm going to do, what we can do is let's go. I think we have to make it more cool. So we're gonna make it more musical, okay? So let's see what the code is doing. So we have the bass, we have the arpeggio, we have the chord. So let's see if we can just have the drums, only this. So this is the pattern. So now I wonder, and now we have the drums. Okay, so what can we do to kind of make it okay? So I would say that we have this notes, we have the sequence state. Let's increase the BPM. See, it goes really fast. Let's go slow. Okay, I think we can put that 90 BPM. 90 BPM. So we can absorb the music better. So now that we have the BPM set up, what can we do? Well, let's look at the code. Let's ask Copilot It's almost like a bossa nova here at that speed. Bum. So we can say we can create an actual sequencer thing here. So I'm gonna say for our ripples.html, should we, okay, at this current state, can we use, so we want to have those components, and right now we have plain HTML. We want to kind of make the code better. We want to introduce the kind of slots for our sequencer, and I want to have 16 slots for our music. So we have, before the music is playing, so this is our intro screen, right? This is our intro screen. Now, if I click on Ignite, I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm going to show you the hand tracking. It's gonna load in a few seconds. So this is not the mouse. This is actually the kind of OpenCV finger tracking, but it has some issues right now. We will, so this is I was trying to make my hand control my finger, but we have wave physics. We can click, where not yet. And we have synth. So let's try to play. Okay. We have an oscillator. So that means we can play random notes. Let's have a drone. We toggle the drone. This is not yet working. Let's try a visualization. So we can let's enable the microphone, and I'm speaking. I'm speaking. O E Well, I'm going to cut the microphone. Can you hear my voice? Can you hear my voice? And this is me speaking and flying on the screen. Okay, so now we're going to do it. Let's go back to we have a motion detection. I think as I move my hand, it should, but not yet. I think we have to still work on these. This is not working yet. And shaders. So we have a grid. As the shader, we have a height map that has a contour, and we have a CRT. But so we are going to kind of make our thing a little better. So first, we have to find the features that we have. And what did this recommend? I think it recommended that we let's see what it says. Okay, no, not yet. At this stage, we should understand our code base to see how we can introduce a better component system. Or can we do that with HTML and plain.js? So that's a better question to ask. So let's put the music back on to keep the vibe going. Okay, now I want you to, we're going to be a bit more random. So as we're exploring, we're going to have to also explore the code because we're a tech channel. And tell me if it's better to have it as dark theme or light theme. So for now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say our nav bar should be a bit more quirky, bold on mobile, easier tap targets. Okay, so now it's gonna do its thing. We're going to use Gemini Flash. So while this is loading, we're gonna look up some music theory, and we're gonna say step. We're gonna ask, since we are AI is like a trend, we're going to go to Google AI Studio to ask it about, you know, okay, can you describe to me the basic working principles of a sensitizer or a sequencer with slots? So let's say we have 16 slots and we have 4 tracks. Okay, so what we're doing is we're trying to see how we can, let's let it think. We're gonna build a music. So what did it say? So we have a grid, a piece of graph paper on a spreadsheet. The column 16 slot that represent time, the row 4 tracks that represent instruments. Actually, then we have slots. So we're gonna go step by step with this actually. I think the first step is, let's see what it recommended. Let us actually cancel this. We're gonna cancel this query. We're going to instead load Gemini. We're gonna say Gemini. We're loading Gemini. The reason we're loading Gemini is so that we have a better strategy, because Gemini can have more context. So let's go with that. And our first step is going to represent this using our application. So currently we are doing HTML files, and we have all of these code that we're trying to bring together into a proper library. But currently I want to assess our code to see what would be the best kind of framework to build a step sequencer based on the library vein that we are currently building. Okay, now that this is loading, we're gonna go back to our and see what did it say. Let's check. Our nav bar should change, but it did not. There's a cache issue, so we're gonna control refresh. Okay, so it's a bit more bold, and that's wonderful. Okay, so we're gonna go to gallery, we're gonna go interactive. We do have a scanline, signal detected processing, and we have a bouncy ball. So have a bouncy ball. We have categories. So let's go back to our agent manager, and Okay. We no longer want this, so we're going to create a new agent. Get a next. So what we're going to do, we're going to go with maybe Claude, regular Claude Sonnet. Okay. And it says model quota reached. Okay, we're gonna go Gemini low. And what we're going to do is our next is I want you to find all the code that's related to admin and also our current so let's see what this has come up with. It's going to go look through, and in the meantime still a work in progress, kind of discovering how okay. So now it's a question of let's look at our code. What did it recommend? It recommended that we're going to refactor our code differently too once this task is over. And let's look into our current thing. So a grid. So we're gonna let it here we're going to kind of say we're gonna tell it we're also gonna launch Gemini here, and okay, your task is as a kind of code architect. We have many entry points to our application, and we have many disparate libraries. All I want is kind of like have a universal menu, or rather a sitemap that kind of can give us a more cohesive look into our application, because we have libraries with isolated demos, but we kind of want to have it as a menu. So we'll have a left panel menu that we can navigate and see examples of our app, and then we can start marking what is completed and what is not completed, what is working is what is not working. So we'd also need a little document that we can just mark things. Okay, so now it's working, it's doing its thing. Going to say continue. Okay. On this side, we are trying to see, it's giving us our, it's setting us, we have our admin logic, and currently I need to I guess we have to first work on our admin, this path here. So we're logging this as a task. The task is when I log into the custom admin dashboard, we should be able to add an interactive app. And how do you propose we add the interactive app? And then we can click on preview. We see the preview before we can save it and publish it. So that's that support that we are adding, mini interactive applications. I'm going to create, as the idea comes, I'm going to create this visualizer that's like 3D. So what we're gonna do, as this is loading, so let's check our step sequencer to see what happens. So let's go to our shader library. We just want to see if that will work. So if we Okay, let's see what Ripples is doing. Let me pause the background music to see. Okay, so that's looking a little better. So now we want to see, we want to gamify it, right? We want to make it more like a game. So I think let's look at the project file first. Let's go to home page. Nope, that did not work. Okay, so we have to tell it. Have to go into our thing. Okay, so bring this project into the home page. Okay, so right now we have an issue with, and I think that's the thing with Vibecoding. Sometimes you feel like you want to do it manually, but the AI spoils you. So in the meantime, let's see if we can have our interactive application editor running. So I'm going to go into my page on the other side of it, and I'm going to check my admin, and it's telling me to log in. So I'm going to try to I don't know if I remember my credentials, but we'll see. In a few seconds we will see, but let's refresh this to see what this has done. We're missing it here, so let's see. Allow. This is the future of development, you know. This is the future of web development. And I want to say, okay, so if I refresh this, it should show the third menu on the right side. Let's see. Nope. But if we go to view components demo, shaders, okay, we have the wave physics not yet working, particles not yet working. We have the audio synthesizer we can play. We have our audio visualization. I can speak or I can play tone. Okay, so this one is not working, I know that. But shaders, CRT. So this is gonna be our audio visualizer. We can rotate with the mouse, but that's the plan. So at this stage, it's better to actually understand the principles before tell the AI to code it for you, because what this allows you to do is actually ask better prompts as you go along. Otherwise, for example, even the act of writing, right? Say, oh, I don't have to write anymore. My AI can write for me. But is it true that my AI will write for me? But when it's time for me to ask for a prompt, how is that going to happen? I'm going to have to write. So therefore, understanding is even more important at this stage. So for example, here, I see that, okay, I'm going to say, I think we have a menu issue in our path. So I think what path did you put this? Because I'm trying to put it in the index.html of, while this is loading, we're gonna check what is our agent doing. Okay, so what did it say? So we're gonna open Visual Studio Code actually, because we're gonna say code dot. We're going to open Visual Studio Code to kind of do some edits manually. We're gonna copy this relative path. We put it here. Here. This is our app entry point. Copy. Okay. I'm gonna copy the path quickly. Okay, so I've corrected it. I've told it this is the entry point and everything else will start from it. So while this is doing its edits, I'm going to see about our demonstration. Let's check our demonstration and to see, okay, I think our server is not running. So we shall go into our, we're gonna start with start Django. We have this batch script that we can just press. It activates our virtual environment and then it loads it for us. So now when I go back into this is doing 8,000, so we want it at localhost 8040. So we'll go into here. We're gonna start it again with Python server. And now let's go and see if we actually can see our application this time. And the first way is to be localhost 8000. And lo and behold, now let's explore our project hub. And let's see our project hub. And I think that's a much better way to see things. I can go to ripples and I can, if I open it in a new tab, it's gonna open full screen, back. Okay, the fit techno. This is not good yet. This is another alternate view. So now we have our documentation. We have our audio sync, audio visualizer, motion, and particles, which is not yet working. We have our shaders, and we have our wave physics, and we have a text to 3D. This is actually very, very interesting. This used to work, but it's no longer working. So now I'm gonna say, give it this new structure. Okay, I'm going to say so this is where you should be your task. Okay. Hey, hey, we're gonna make the techno. We're gonna make the techno. We're gonna make the techno. We're gonna make the music. 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 Oh, oh. And let's go. Let's go. We got choreographer for the sequence bin. That is loaded on the sequence. Now we're gonna check if this is in our home page. No. Okay. By index I mean I'll give you the path. The index is our current root directory. This is the entry point for our app. So we need probably at this point a proper routing system so we don't lose some code paths. I think. So now it's still trying to tell us to go to Vein. And Vein is our library, you know, but that's the coolest. So Vein is the library and the Vein sequencer. So, okay, so we probably have some console errors. Okay. Copy. It's gonna do some stuff. So now we have the Vein, our library, which has demos, but we also have other code paths. So how do we tie all of this together in terms of navigation? And now it's gonna create a router.js, and it's going to do some refactoring for us. But so far, what's working? It's this ripples player that when I click, I think what we need is we use our limits. So let's kind of add some order into the chaos. And we need more order into the chaos, because right now we have chaos. So we're gonna introduce a new element, but we're gonna switch to our models. We're gonna say continue, continue. I'm gonna say continue, and we're gonna increase our messages. And I think what we need is a better visualizer, because right now it's touching this side, but you see, so we need a better way to kind of but let's finish with the refactoring to see what it has done. Let's go under refactoring. Let's see what our refactorer has done. Let's go here, and we're gonna see if Gemini has given us a plan. It's still going step by step, and it says we haven't lost any logic, and our audio system is now shared across scene to prevent conflicting. So now we're preventing conflicts on our system. So now I want to say did what in one sentence, what did you accomplish? Okay, it's gonna unify a single experiment into a modular single page application. Okay, well, let's refresh to see if that works. We might crash it, we might break it, and exactly, we broke the application. Of course, it broke. Okay, it loaded, but our sequencer no longer works. We had this entry. I'm going to say our entry is now broken, and there's no error. Okay, let's go in the sequencer. Nothing works. Obviously, that's vibe coding for you. You see, when you are truly vibe coding, you will make a lot of mistakes. So that's why, see, now I can click, and that's why I'm using this as a kind of way to, you see, things are broken. So let's see if we can bring some order back. Okay, it's gonna isolate the root cause. Let me refresh. Currently, we have this error here. We're gonna go, let's see what this AI has said about it, this language model. So our kind of idea is we're gonna see if our robot can be creative. There's this fashion kind of thing. Okay. We're going to create a computer that can create art. Computer that can create music. So what we're gonna do for this is it's this string called strudel JS, strudel REPL, that I don't know how to use yet that much. Like, you can hit play. See, boom pa boom pa boom pa boom pa boom pa pa boom pa. I think you can even change things, like you can add it to 8. stop and play. Yeah, I can take 808, stop, start. See a different kind of sound. I can have stop this. And we're just trying to see. There's a 0 here. It's not working like that. How about here? Okay, so that's through the REPL. And what we're gonna do now is trying to see, once the AI has fixed, still not working. Okay. What errors do we see on our application? We have all of these errors. Okay. Well, let's log in into our okay, we can log in. Now our goal is to see if we can go to can create a generative. We have artifacts, which are gonna be a list of files, but I want to say I do not see the option to add the interactive apps, and I think this was a different agent. What was the how do we access our interactive app admin? Okay, I think we don't need that. We can explore our documentation. Let's see if we can actually have access to it. Shaders, reactive camera, sequencer demo. None of these are working yet. We have our synthesizer, our visualizer, our kind of motion. So we're gonna keep pulling more code into it, and Okay, a level that follows while. Okay, so now I'm gonna test the image upload test. So it creates a new album. So then I can upload a file. I'm gonna upload the image. This is the image. If I click on optimize, it optimizes it. And then here, I should have a link to actually see it, see to the actual gallery. So I need, in fact, we're going to do this the proper way. We're gonna go, if I were to add a link to the actual album and show me the Django way. Could ask the thing to just do it for me, but I want to know how first, so then we can improve it, you know. And I think people on the internet like dark themes, so we're gonna go dark. We're gonna say we're gonna open our editor, and we're just going to select a new theme, you know, command control shift P. We're gonna go to color theme, and we can cycle, so we can cycle to our themes. Let's see, I could have the theme like that, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. What do you think of this theme? Is it hackery enough for you, Abyss, or this? I feel like people would like the Abyss. So let's keep it as the, let's keep it like that. And well. Okay, so it says if I want to add, if there is an album, then it's going to add the URL like this. Okay, please add for me. Is this theme too dark? We can change it to like, we can change it to something a little better, you know. We can also go to our okay, so now let's check our application to see if we can see the link. Well, we have let's see what it says. Okay, I could just say this is the error, but I'll say explain to me. Explain this error. before we fix it. Ask for explanation before we fix. That way we learn things, you know. I think this theme is a bit less harsh on the eyes, honestly. So we're gonna use this theme instead. Let's save that. And let's... Our CSS is getting too big. We're gonna split it. Okay, so now let's check our application to see if the fix was applied. It's still working. And it's gonna apply the solution very soon. And let's go into our editor. Still going. Okay, so while this is loading, okay, let's check our fix. Let's check our fix. So it's trying to fix it, and there was an on-click router thingy, and this is like I'm doing true vibe coding today. See, usually I'm doing like structured on the other side, but now it's actually much harder actually. No. So let me clear. This is, I'm going to call the big boys. I'm going to say Copilot. And I'm going to kind of just go with what's the sonnet that we have. And in fact, before we use our, I'm going to say, currently we have some pending changes. What happened was our application, we made some refactoring. We had a bunch of libraries and disconnected demos and disconnected web pages. We wanted a single entry point, but everything has been broken now. So the last commit, things were working fine, but this new one, we broke the application. Most of our things are not functioning. So I think we need to first kind of have more structure into our code base. And the goal is to kind of, yeah, what do you propose? So ask it what it proposes first. And it's going to do a bit of work. I mean, in the meantime, let's check our other application. And it says the page should look correctly. Now, if I refresh, I still get this issue. So just to make sure that I am okay, I'm going to show it the message again. And so now the question is, we're going to see if Gemini Flash can actually create this thing for us. So let's refresh, pop, and we still have this issue, this audio sequencer. So now let's do some reading about okay, so right now we are going full chaotic vibe coding. It's just whatever we see, we just put it and trying to see what comes up with. But now we kind of want some themes. Right now we just have this audio synth, motion visualizer, particles, shader, and a wave physics exploration. But we kind of want to tie these ideas together into one kind of prompt to kind of make it a little more interesting. So let's refresh this, and okay, it says it has corrected the code, it removed the new lines. Let's refresh the page. Refresh the page, nothing happened. So we're gonna stop our server, and then we're gonna relaunch it. And then let's see what URL it has given us. It's 1840, and we're gonna go to 1840, and we still have our template error. So maybe when we go into our edit, so we're gonna say copy And the issue is that it's not showing us what we need to see. So how about we kind of just let it ride for a bit. If this doesn't fix it, we'll go manually and try to fix it. Okay, so while this is working, we look at okay, I agree. So now this should let's refresh this. Okay, we have one other error. I think there's a strange issue here. Is the issue because we are doing that logic inside of our mixing the JavaScript with the Django logic? Still not working, same error. Okay. Now let's see what Copilot has given us. So now when we go, and remember, we are trying to while this is working, I'm going to show you some more fun stuff. I think it would be better while we are we're gonna just launch a little video game. Our thing, it's like a while the error is fixing, I'm gonna check. Let's see, yes, we're gonna check a video game that we've had a little so this is made with let's go with the Copilot, and this is made with C#. So first we're gonna say .NET run watch. So this is .NET, so it's C#8 and mono game, so this can make so it doesn't contain a static main method. I think it's using code. It's using a new type of C#. That's my first guess. That doesn't allow or us to create those freestanding C# files, and that's where the issue comes. So that's number 2. It's going to, and that's why Vibecoding can be dangerous. Imagine if I was doing that in production code, you know. So we don't want to do it like that. Okay. Change your approach because we still have the error. Now let's check our template still, but let's check this. That's much better. We are back. We are back. And Ripple experience, the Fate Techno, the Fate player, and audio synth. Okay. Now we are going to let's commit this. Our next task is going to be primarily on planning a feature, and we're going to use a free model for that. So if I had to say in terms of let's use Perplexity for that. Okay, Perplexity AI. we're gonna ask it for programming between GPT-5 Mini, GPT 4.1, and Gemini Flash, which one would be better? So Gemini is fast. Okay, so well, I guess we're gonna pick GPT-5 Mini for the rest of our thing. So clear, and we have a good commit. We're gonna choose a model. Go to model, and our model is going to be GPT-5 Mini for the rest of this. And it says reasoning effort. Okay. Let's choose the medium. Okay, so now we're going to basically ask it some questions regarding really what is a step sequencer. So if you had to create, we do have a synthesizer library already, but for now we want to create the user interface. So based on these basic principles, I want a step or phase by phase plan to kind of ensure we have that prototype, 4 tracks, 16 slots. We can vary the BPM, and I think each track can be a different sound sample, and that should be it. So while our AI is doing its model, we're going to actually be less ADHD and just clear. I'm gonna say, can you let's first look at our, I'm gonna say, for each page in our hub menu, can you also provide its file name in a kind of like a breadcrumb kind of component? So this is gonna help us track things. So at the same time, I'm going to say, I'm going to feed that into this and see if we can one-shot it. And then let's see. So 0x free model. So the free model can get us very far. So let's check our vibe debugging. Okay, let's refresh. Hopefully it fixes. Okay. I think not working. Okay, so I think for that admin album, I think you can revert that change because it has broken the application. Don't be afraid to revert. If the application, I'm going to actually put that in the menu. I'm gonna say, you know, if the AI breaks, do not be afraid to revert the code, because you know, code is especially now, code is cheaper. Because code is cheaper, we're still gonna learn. Okay. If the AI has broken your code, do not be afraid to revert the change instead of digging deeper. Okay, so it's gonna revert the change, and it's gonna start the application just to see. And it's gonna launch a browser itself for us. And let us check. Okay, there's a fundamental issue. There's a fundamental issue somewhere. Let's do yes. Okay, let's run it. Let's see if our video game works. And game has launched. It's like a pulsing thing. So it's a prototype. Okay. Now, can we combine XAML with monogame? And if we can, I need a panel that will show us the elements on the screen in their name. And for now, we simply want a blue circle and a red triangle. And the red triangle can follow the blue rectangle on some kind of pattern. Okay, let's shut this down. We're just going on the top of our head with like random prompts to see what is happening. In the meantime, let's check our code that was reverted, and let's see if it is working now. If I click on this, still it's broken. So my guess is that our server has not picked up on the change yet. That's why it is still broken. So now let's see our okay, we asked, can we integrate monogame with XML and see if that's gonna work. So .NET 1 Ranch, and I've tried Unity, and I think, okay, so we have this error here. I will say explain, then suggest. Wait, this is a great so I'm going. Okay. Let's see. Let's refresh. Let's refresh this, and Boogie, you seem to have a good kind of style in your graphics. Yeah, that's very interesting graphics you have. Are you do you draw? Okay. So now let's check our reverted code. still broken. So fundamentally, we have a dangling process. So I think we need a task that will, okay, we're gonna say, I think we have a dangling process. How do we kind of find Django processes to stop? And then now let's check the status of our application. Open a sequencer.html. Did you add that link to our hub? We should add that link to our hub so that we can find it. Okay. In the meantime, let's see if our project has now the breadcrumb, and we have the breadcrumb. Now let's go to our sequencer demo, and it says file not found. While this is working, I think okay, it's a sequencer prototype. So we do have a sequencer now. We have kick, snare, hi-hat, pin. Okay, boom, pat, boom, pat. So let's stop it. Let's stop our music playing to actually see if we can actually make it play. Describe our UI main parts. So this is important. We describe the main parts of our user interface, and it goes faster. Now, let's see. Let's see what this has come up with. The sequencer grid, our slots will have an ID, a class name. Every major element, and every fourth, a faint separator to help visually. Okay, so let's stop. Let's see if we can have a kick instead. Let's see. Ta, 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 ta. So let's try that. Okay, so that's better. So now, what can we do with this? We can boom, boom, boom. Ah. Okay, so now, boom, ta ta ta. Okay. Okay, so I will ask, let's critique, copy to clipboard, and this is what we've implemented so far. So the UI now tick, and I want to ask it, can I stop? Huh. I think what we have to do is it's actually interesting. So based on this, we could actually have a wild idea. So what we could do is have within each slot their own waveform. So let's do that. So we're gonna say, great. So I'll say, let's do this. We're gonna add a slight gray color to to our thing here. And then what else are we gonna do? What else we're gonna do? We're going to so here's what I think we can do. For every, okay, we're going to make our sequencer a little bit crazier. If we have the wave physics, okay, let's see our shader. Okay, here's an idea. Gonna add our requirement. We have our visual feedback. Okay, so now okay, let's test this. Okay, stop. Okay, now let's look at our okay. So what we want to do now is kind of merge a few things together. Okay, let's check our game. Let's see if we can run it now. it is running now. Now, on the right side of that panel, the scene elements, can we have the actual game with simple mechanics going on? And well, this is thinking. Gonna go into our terminal. And what we're going to say is okay, now we have a lot of files and a lot of showcases. Can you group them by kind? Not yet with the code, but try to understand for each file in the menu, see which one can be grouped properly. Okay, so we have to close this. Okay, let's start the game. It's probably gonna crash, but see, let's duplicate the tab. Let's go to .NET run part. Okay, now what's the mechanic? Oh, look at that, we actually can move it, and it shows the position of the object as we move it up and down. Now, space. There's a retrocausality. Okay. Now, how would the retrocausality scene mechanics work? Second, if we look at our scene elements, I think we can increase the font size. It's good. It's kind of launching, right? So that's nice. So now, while this is working, we're literally, that's the true definition of vibe coding right there. And well, find that and then reorganize our left panel better. Okay, I'm going to take a 5 minutes break, okay? I will be right back. In the meantime, So now if we refresh, seems like our music has stopped. No, not the same thing. What did the AI say? Okay, sequence train audio. Okay. Apps, we have the library. Well, let's actually do this manually. Let's see. Our text to 3D might be a special case, and I'm going to show you which is drawing. Okay, so now show you this. It's probably the most special application that we have here. It's going to take a while to load. So this is a 3D application, and it uses our Gemini, or we can use any other thing, but I'm going to show you how it works. Paste my API key, your Gemini API key, and we test it, see if we can connect to it. It failed. Why did it fail? How about this one? Test. Could not reach backend server. Okay, so I think our backend server is failing. So we have to go into our, before we go into that game, in fact, I think we should put it in its own separate desktop. So we're going to make things a little bit more organized. So we have, we're gonna go back to this. This was our research. So we are going to move this into its own desktop so that we have a better organization system. Okay, so this one here is our drawer, and let's bring this back into our main application, and now we are good. So let's go in here, let's split this tab, okay, and we're going to kind of really desktop. I'm gonna go to animation, text it really simple else, and we're going to say cd backend, and we're going to say then in activate, and in fact we're just gonna say then activate. We activate our virtual environment. After we activate our virtual environment, which is an isolated environment for Flask, we're just gonna say Python server.py, and now our server is gonna run, and it told us that it's a development server. Okay, so it says it no longer be receiving. So what is the new? Let's actually fix that issue first. It says now so this is our new library that we're gonna use, Python GenAI, and I think this is gonna be, before we even demo this, because it has been deprecated, we're going to update our our system. We're gonna say clear. Okay, now new task. We have this in our text 3D sub application. We need to upgrade our Gemini service using this. And in fact, I'm going to use a premium model for that. I'm going to go to model because I know I'm going to take the most expensive model. I'm going to say, first of all, we have this text to 3D application, which is a React application. And I'm wondering if how we can bring this up into our, or if we can should keep it separate. And the second part is that we have a deprecation notice for the Gemini API, so we have to make some upgrades to our backend server. So I think that's to be the first thing. Here is the link, and look at our code and see how you can fix it. So this is going to be our 3D application that we're going to play with, text to 3D. And you'll see, you can zoom in, zoom out. If we refresh, we'll see a ball that's going to drop from the sky that we can interact and play with. So it's in browser. So that's part of our showcase. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to do something else with it. Well, let's look at our video game in the other desktop. We're going to say .NET Run Watch, and this should bring up our updated system, and we have our elements here. Now, if we wizard them, what is the mechanic of the retro? Okay, let's see the mechanic. Hold, press and hold space, and we go. It's a stupid mechanic, but we go. Okay, so it's a retro causality. I think idea of retro causality was like we have a trail, and the trail is going. We press space, it goes back to where it used to come. So I think that would be the group. Okay. I think we have to simplify our mechanism. It actually should be this way. We have the player, and then we have the red triangle. Can we have like a better looking sprites with maybe some shading? And the idea is that it leaves a trail behind. And then the trail lasts for up to 3 seconds as it goes. So I'm talking about the tail end should last 3 seconds, right? And then it keeps going like that. And it follows its previous path. And the idea now is that if I press space, it will whiplash back into the earliest state possible with a ghost-like effect. And if it encounters the enemy on the trail, it will disintegrate it. and the enemy will move back to a new location. So that's the mechanic that I wanted to implement. Let's go back to our other application. You see, we're all over the place, and that's great. Now let's see what it's gonna do. We have updated our application now to use GenAI client. We pass in the API key, and now we have to go to our backend. We have to pip install, and let's do that. And I say pip freeze for us. And then now let's check our we should accept this, and then let's check our other application. Let's refresh that. It's waiting for input. Let's see how fast this is. It's still simplifying the retro causality mechanics. Okay, so it's still working. Okay. Now let's look at our sequencer. Okay. Let's refresh. We should have a text to 3D link here. It's not working. Okay, so we have to launch our backend as well. Let's launch our backend. Let's see if it fails. Okay, let's check again. Let's test. Okay. Resource exhausted. Okay, so I think we have a. Okay, let's report this bug. Okay. We need a mechanism to be able to switch keys. So if that key is invalid for now, we show that it is exhausted, a little label, and we can add another key and if to kind of rotate. Second mechanism is that our panel that shows the status panel, when the text is too big, it overlaps. So we have to, that text needs to be contained inside of the container. And third, I think we should dynamically list the models, the current models for Gemini, and it should preserve that until we change it. And then fourth, for our mechanism to actually generate the models, currently the models are blocky. We should be able to refine our focus mechanism. Say if I ask for a house, it shows things that drop on top of each other and then they disintegrate. So we need a better way to do that. While this is loading, let us check our application, the project hub. Let's refresh. Let's go now to our sequencer. And what we're gonna do with our sequencer is still the same idea. Okay, so I would say, well, what's next for our sequencer? What's next for our sequencer? I think we have to kind of refine the sound. Is there any libraries for JS? Okay. This, we should remove this. Okay, so I'm going to go into our animation. Let's check our index. Let's check our nav HUD. Let's go to JS. Let's go to modules. Let's go to nav HUD. And it's creating, actually, that's actually quite like React. That's a great way to actually create without React. We have like add styles. It's actually very nice, but we just need to find out this is actually pretty cool. Okay, now I want us to, let's check the status of our development of our game. Let's see what the game is doing. After that, I'm going to end the stream at 3 p.m. Okay. How is the code structured? Okay, so what I want is we have the scene. We have two players. We have the mechanics. And then we have the controls. Now, for now, the controls should be at the bottom bar, discoverable. Now, when we get into an area of the enemy, there should be a field that shows the enemy. And then we need to have the trail. Okay, so right now you see it's we So let us check the mechanism now. Let's see what it has come up with. So we just want an assessment of what is going on, right? So for now, we have the scene. The proximity field is probably what we were talking about. Let's see if that mechanic actually now is in the game. Issue is we cannot quit, maybe unless we close. Okay, I should report that issue. I think current issue is that we cannot quit the application, and when we go into the terminal we press Control C. Also we have to close the entire terminal. So now while this is working, let's check the state of our, okay, so we have multiple API keys with label. When a quota is hit, exhausted, auto rotates, press active key, and radio button to switch between keys. Our agent panel now has a we can list the models. That's the thing I was talking about, that new list models, and refresh. Persist in local storage, and we have a better 3D generation. So I think in that channel I'm gonna have a tutorial that actually will show that. And now let's refresh our page and let's use our proper key just to see what will happen. So we are going to we need close. We're gonna get a different API key. We're gonna get a different API key to making sure that we can actually work. Go to settings, we paste the API key. We're gonna call this first, and we're gonna add. Okay, it's added. Can we test it? It's testing it. It failed. It failed because key exhausted. Huh, we just used it. Anything that's when it says key exhausted, uh, that's strange. Is there? Okay, now that's clear. Okay. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll do a different stream another time, but 2 hours is a good way to showcase our system, and then we'll come back another time later today. Okay, so bye bye, and I'll catch you some other day.